by 1 second. Can you take about a half step backwards?
Sure.
Yeah. Fix the white balance. Stand by. Go ahead. Count to 10. Make sure your audio sounds good. If you don't mind, go ahead and count to 10. Make sure your audio sounds good.
Start?
Yes, you. Sorry. Don't mind. Count to 10.
I can't really hear you.
If you don't mind, could you please count to 10 just to make sure your audio sounds good?
Okay, gotcha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Okay.
7. All right.
Second, I'm going to mute myself, and then Kyle's all you.
Okay, we'll get started. Questions for Myles Benning. JJ, you're up.
Hey, Myles, thanks for joining us today. How are you guys wrapping up week 3 of practice this fall? How are things going overall?
I would say we're improving every day. The culture of win the day is actually starting to really go into effect each and every day, not worried about later on in the week or what happened yesterday. Just each day is a new day, new opportunity. And I think that we as a team, especially these last 3 days, have taken a big step forward each and every day. Coach has been pushing us a lot offensively. I can speak from pushing us, to move fast, keep the tempo up, and holding a lot of people accountable. So I would say it's going very well, and we're improving each and every day.
What specifically has it been about these last 3 days this week that you feel like it's been good for the team?
It's just been tempo. Coach Lundy says he wants to play AFAP as fast as possible, and we're playing, but we weren't practicing that. So they're stressing just being on us, and Coach Traylor really stresses creating a game environment, knowing that there's going to be a lot of agitation and a lot of stuff going on during the game. So his big deal is creating that type of environment in practice. So when he's getting into us, this week is really the week that we've really seen him as a head coach take over and get on, offense, defense, teams as a whole, and everyone has responded positively because, that's what we're going to get on game day. So that's really what's changed a lot.
Thanks.
Okay, Greg.
Myles, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I'm wondering, what has it been like from your perspective practicing with all the different safety protocols and precautions that have been in place?
I would say at first, I was, before it all happened, I was quite skeptical. I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew where I stood, and, I wanted to play, obviously. But getting the feeling of the team, a lot of players were uncertain, but we all came around with the help of, Dan and Nick and our athletic training staff, as well as the weight room, strength conditioning. Those guys have put in countless hours, making sure everyone's got a mask, make sure we do our surveys every morning, being on top of us with these tests, and they're not playing. So, whether you might be just, sitting, in the hallway by yourself or something, got to have that mask on. And I think we've grown comfortable because this is the new norm with the mask and all those things. Just making sure social distancing, even in our team room with the chairs and the spaces and all that stuff. So they've definitely done a great job. And I believe that the staff has done a great job listening and taking medical advice from other people and making us safe.
Outside of practice, with classes starting back up and more people back on campus, how have you had to sort of change your routine to make this work, to keep the bubble that you guys are trying to form?
I would say, we've been doing it for a few weeks. Coach calls it our bubble. So, just kind of limiting your interaction with people who aren't part of the team, that all those people that are around us every day. I would say since school started, it hasn't really changed because a lot of those classes are online. I would say you have to change from a discipline standpoint of, being on those Zoom calls for your classes and stuff like that, making sure you're fully engaged because it's really all on you. The university has done a good job at, switching everything to online databases. But at the end of the day, it's really, up to us as players to social distance ourselves from people who aren't in our bubble. and to limit our interactions with other individuals.
Are all of your classes online, or is there anything you have to be in person for?
No, all of my classes are online.
Right.
I believe there's only a handful of in-person classes.
Right. So do you feel safe overall with the prospect of going through a season, or how do you kind of rate the outlook for the months ahead?
I do feel safe. Obviously I can't speak for, other teams, with people getting tested and all that, if they're going to be, true and, upfront about those results and stuff like that. But I know that, our staff have definitely put us in a positive position and keeping us safe and doing all the protocols, to be honest. And, if unfortunately, if someone tests positive, you gotta quarantine for those 10 days. And they're not playing any games about that. So I definitely feel safe. And I think that we've gotten in the rhythm of that, what it's going to look like and, how it could be next man up. And I think that the team is really buying into that and knowing that, you might be a 3, but you got to pay attention, obviously, because you don't know what can happen on game week. So I believe we all feel safe and feel a lot better, about these protocols because we've been doing it for a while and they've been stressing a lot of things to us.
On a different note, there's been a lot of conversation in the sports world the last couple of days about the shooting of Jacob Blake and the response to that at the college and pro level. I know when everything with George Floyd was unfolding, you were very vocal about that. What has sort of the conversation within the team been like this week regarding those kind of issues?
Well, it kind of just happened. We were, I guess, obviously, we were quite surprised the stance that the NBA took, it definitely changed a lot of things, perspective-wise. Just how, as an athlete, we can use our platforms, and that's why I think it's very important that we play. As college athletes, the whole "we want to play" movement. Because without that, we don't have a platform. Obviously, we can't use our platform at practice. But if we're playing and we set what our team is about and what we stand for. Definitely being a very diverse team, obviously, and being in the city of San Antonio, very multicultural city. We've grown close as a team, and I've never really talked to other people about these type of situations because, being an African-American male, I do live in these times, and these are realities of me, when I get pulled over, keep your hands on the wheel, those sudden movements. There's certain things that you have to worry about being an African-American, definitely out here, and a young African-American, out here. So I would say, it hasn't changed anything for me. I think, my 2 main points when the George Floyd incident was education and keeping it relevant. And, unfortunately with this situation, it is more relevant again, obviously. And so, I haven't really changed on that. And I'm still trying each and every day to educate and keep relevance on that as well. And not trying to shut out people who might have a difference of opinion, but, trying to educate them on those subjects.
You mentioned kind of keeping your platform and using your platform, but did you guys ever discuss whether it might be right to sit out of practice or whether that might be something you guys want to do?
We never discussed it, obviously. And I think it's because I think we leave those kind of up to those, those guys who have a bigger platform, who kind of, I guess, with the NBA and those major sports, NBA, MLB, WNBA, who stood out or who sat out as well. They definitely get that focus, that attention, and they can bring those social injustices to light, throughout the country. Now, for us, as an organization, we kind of wouldn't have that effect if we were to sit out, obviously. Now, if Coach Traylor felt the temperament of the team, and if we felt like, we were kind of distracted and we couldn't compete and, go out there and perform the best of our ability, he definitely would have, he would have felt that. We would have let them know, especially, some of the guys, leadership on this team, we would have let them know. Because, we're a player-led team, actually, this year. We talk about it a lot, but actually being about it this year is the big thing. So with being that player-led team, we definitely didn't, that wasn't the atmosphere of the team. And they felt like, we weren't surprised, obviously of these situations, going on, but we got to fight through it. And Coach Traylor says, life is kind of like kind of like a railroad. You got both ways going, and, you got the positive side and you got the bad side. And, the individual that can succeed through all of that, and stay true to who they are through all that will succeed in life. So, we definitely, want to do that, and that's kind of what we're going at on that.
Got it. Thanks, Myles.
Anything else for Myles? All right, thanks. We'll get Coach in there in a few.
All right, thank you.
Test. Okay. I'll make one change because my dog's making the orange. Is that right? Sorry, my mic was muted. I muted myself. Everything looks good to me.
All right, well, we'll take questions for Coach Traylor. JJ, you are up.
Hey, Coach, how's it going today?
Good morning.
Wanted to ask you, you guys wrap up your third week of practice here in fall camp. What have you learned about those guys so far in these 3 weeks?
What have I learned? I don't know if I've learned anything. We know them pretty good. We got better this week. We turned the heat up a lot. A lot of winners, a lot of losers. Leadership council, jersey numbers revealed, starting lineups, backups, scout team guys. Just a lot of ripping the Band-Aid off, so to speak. It's always great when everybody's getting to practice and everybody's playing and everybody's getting the ball. But where are you when times get rough? And that's what a person of integrity is about. And today we used the old John Gordon about a hard-boiled egg or a carrot or coffee bean. When the water's hot, which one are you? And our guys have been, the coffee bean. They've been fantastic. They might not like what's happened, but they've handled it. just like they've done with George Floyd and COVID-19 and all the civil unrest and passing of Bryce wisdom. These guys just keep handling adversity, and they keep showing me the type of men they are. Now, I do not know what that's going to translate into wins and losses, but I know we've got some great young men that have some character.
Myles Benning just told us he thought these last 3 days of practice, he felt a different tempo and style, and he said specifically from you that he felt it a little different. Have you felt anything different these last 3 days of practice?
No, I haven't. It's been intentional. I knew when you start revealing, everybody wanted to be 0 through 9. All those guys were very competitive for that. A lot of those guys wanted to be on the leadership council. All of them want to be starters. I knew the heat was going to get turned up this week when we revealed the winners. And that's why this week was, the motto was win the day. We were very competitive all week. We had winners and losers all week. Every segment we did this week, there was a winner and a loser some way or another. And to the victor goes the spoils. And to the loser goes push-ups or up-downs or running or whatever it might be. It's real life. Not everybody gets a ribbon. If we've ever learned that, 2020, not many ribbons given out this year.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, Greg, you're up.
Jeff, how are you?
Good, Greg.
We learned this week that you guys had 2 positive COVID-19 tests come back in the latest round of testing. I'm wondering, just to what extent is that a cause for concern at this point? How are you guys viewing that?
None, because we had 0 this week. So, we've had 5 the entire summer. So that's talking about a bunch of tests. But I say none. None's a slight exaggeration, Greg, to be honest. There's always concern. I guess if the test would have come back today, we had a lot more, I would have been very concerned. But since we bounced back with a 0, I think the 2 was actually good for us. I hate for the 2 kids that had tested positive for it, but I know it raised our level of awareness. I felt like we were getting a little relaxed. I think I even mentioned that to y'all a couple of weeks ago. But I know once those 2 positives came back, I didn't have to remind anybody about their masks. They've all had their mask on. And, we play 2 weeks in a day. So if anybody's positive, they're probably going to be missing a game. So it's always been very serious, but it's the healthiest place to be right now. We've been tested once a week. Now it's going 3 times a week. And we're going to know where we are as a team.
Did those 2 positives create any kind of disruption in the practice routine? I know there can be a contact tracing and other guys who have to go into quarantine and things like that.
Yeah, there was some of those ramifications. We had guys that had to get quarantined and, next man up. And luckily they weren't in the same position. They were kind of, different positions. So that where it's going to be really bad, it's bad anyway if you get tested for positive. But, I mean, like I said, 99% of the time, whatever the stat is, you'll be fine. I don't know the exact number, so don't quote me on that. But like I said, my own children had it, and I was in the house with them for 3 months, and I never got it. So it's very interesting how that all.
Have those players recovered, or were they symptomatic, or how did that situation play out?
Yeah, they're fine. They were asymptomatic, no symptoms. They were shocked. They were demanding retests. They still don't think they have it. So it is what it is.
We've talked about the protocol really going back a few months now, and it seems like at this point you're testing weekly. Is that sort of the plan through the year, or could that be ran a little bit? How do you see that evolving?
Well, we got to go by Conference USA. We've been going weekly, but Conference USA is going to be 3 times a week. So it now goes 3 times a week.
Does that start?
The players deserve so much credit. I don't know that people really realize. People that say testing. Well, I mean, it's 220 people around here that got to get tested. And that's a couple of hours of our day. And our UT health system's been fantastic. Getting Q-tips very deep up in your nostrils which I know probably you've all done it too. But it's what these players have gone through. That's before they come to practice. And, then you come out there on the turf, and it's 100 degrees and pads, and they're amazing. What these young men have done and put up with and gone through, it's an honor to be their coach.
Do you know when you're going to that 3 times a week? Is that before the first game, or has that been worked out yet?
I would imagine next week since we start playing, but I didn't read the email. I got it today. But since Conference USA picks up next week, I would imagine next week. I'm not for sure, Greg.
Got it. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, Chase, you're up.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Hey, you mentioned you have your starters. I have to ask your weekly, are you ready to publicly announce your starting quarterback?
No, sir, I'm not, but I appreciate you asking. And I just don't see how it benefits, does any good right now. So, but thanks for asking.
Absolutely. Hey, I know Texas high school football is so near and dear to you. A lot of the small schools get started tonight with all the uncharted territory and all the unprecedented type stuff that's going on right now. What would your message be to those young men and coaches tonight?
I think they already know the message. We might have taken the sport for granted, and we don't. Every morning I drive in my truck, I'm just thrilled to put the whistle around my neck, put the cap on, and go affect young men. And I know the THSCA is about that. Those players are about that. Some great rivalries going off tonight. And I can't wait to see the scores and text all my buddies. And you have to be a reporter that's covered football for a long time or been in the locker room to really realize how deep of a relationship a high school football coach has with his players. And it's a special, special thing. And I don't think they need to hear my message, but I think they won't take it for granted ever again if they ever did.
Excellent. And to kind of build on my first question, because I have to ask again, are you ready to reveal who got the single-digit numbers?
We're going to start doing that Sunday night. We're going to release the guys that had the 210. Those 3 will be released first. And then we'll start doing the singles from then on out. We want that to be a big deal around here. Hopefully I'm here for a long time, and that can be something we all look forward to each year. And when we see somebody in 0 through 9, we know those guys represent the brand, triangle of toughness, the 210. And kids have really bought into it, and we're proud of it. And the kids that didn't get it are hell-bent on getting them next year. So I can't wait.
Excellent. Thank you, Coach.
Anything else for Coach Traylor? All right. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good weekend.
Thank y'all, man. See y'all. Appreciate what y'all do.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate your time.